Hello, Keith Rucker here at VintageMachinery.org. Guys, today got a new little project that I need to get started on. This was actually sent in to me by a viewer that I agreed to help him out on, Keith Hacker up in Minnesota. And what I've got here, I don't remember exactly what this came off of. He probably told me in an email, but I just don't remember offhand. But we've got a couple of gears and some shafting here that all mesh together. And unfortunately, we've lost some teeth on one of these gears, and actually on this one over here we've got some missing teeth and just some messed up gears and need to make a new set of gears for this thing. So he had sent along the originals, and what I want to do is make a new gear to go on this. This is actually a two-piece setup here. We got the shaft, and then the gear, it looks like it presses and got some screws holding it in place. And then there's this matching set here that comes apart. They got the shaft here that's a one-piece shaft with the gears on it, and then this larger gear presses up on this and is pinned in place. So basically you got two gears side by side. We're going to totally remake this whole setup over here, I think. Could probably salvage this one, but there's a couple of teeth in here. I just don't like the way they look, so we're just going to make a whole new setup, I think, and replace it. The only thing we're going to probably keep is this part of the shaft down here. I could even remake that, but I think I am going to try to salvage that. So that's kind of the game plan. I think for today we're going to focus on this one here. We're going to work on this one a little bit later. I need to get a couple of things in before I start on that one, but I think what we'll start off by is see if we can get this gear off of the part that it's mounted on, and see what it's going to take to make a new setup here. Just get you a little closer shot here of this part, and you can see we're missing some teeth over here. Not completely, but partially. Looks like maybe the gears got out of alignment, didn't have full engagement, and just stripped some out there. And over here we got a couple of missing pieces as well. You can see there's four socket cap screws in here. Looks like a couple of pins, and then looks like this press is on. You can see the two pieces there. So what I want to do is go ahead and take out the socket cap screws, take this over to the press, and see if we can press that apart and make this new gear. Notice we've got a kind of unusual broach job in here. We got a couple of opposing keys, and then a partial key here. That's part of the reason why I want to, I think, reuse this. I do need to kind of rebroach a little bit on the into these, but I've already got the alignment and everything set up. Hopefully, I haven't measured that to see if that's a standard inch size or whether that's a metric size keyway. I'm hoping it's going to be a nominal inch size because I don't have hardly any metric broaches, but we'll check that out and see what we need to do to get that done at some point in time. Let's go ahead and pull this apart and see if we can press that apart. I didn't mention it, but this is a 10 pitch gear, 37 teeth. I think I've got a cutter for that we can remake that gear when the time comes. I also did measure those broach keys, and it looks like it's 3/8, so we should be good to go. I know I have a 3/8 inch broach, so that won't be any problem at all to redo when the time comes. All right, let's go ahead and get these four socket cap screws out of there that's holding this gear into place. I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's two pins that are also indexing it in place. Once I get these cap screws out, we should be able to take this over to the arbor press and just press that center hub out of the gear, and then we can take a look and see what we need to do to start making a new gear to go in here. All right, let's go to the arbor press. All right, we're over here at the arbor press. Not going to fit into that slot. Let's go around to this bigger one. Yeah, I think that'll work. Wish it was a little bit narrower. And I found this little shaft over here in my scrap pile. got a shoulder in there. The inside fits down in the hole, but the shoulder's going to ride on that smaller diameter. So I think we can use that to kind of press it out with. So we'll pull our ram down and, oh yeah, no problem at all. Didn't take much at all to press that off. And there is our gear that we need to remake, and the piece that it fits up on. All right. Got a block of steel here that's just the right size to make this gear out of. So what I'm going to do is we're going to take this over and just slice off a piece on the bandsaw. The original gear is 1 inch thick. So we'll just go ahead and cut this a little thicker than that where we can face the sides off and get it to the right size. We'll probably cut the outside diameter once we get it mounted up on this. Everything runs concentric. So let me go ahead and get over to the bandsaw and we'll slice this off a piece. Over at the marble saw, I got that about 1 1/8 inch thick, which should give me plenty of extra material to machine off. So we're just going to let it cut through there. It's probably going to take it a few minutes to cut through that wide or thick piece of metal, but we'll just let her cut away. We've got our blank cut out. I'm going to put it over here in the lathe now. What I want to do is I want to get it first face down to thickness, 1 inch thick. Go ahead and face both sides off. We'll leave the outside diameter on here for now. When I flip it over and get it down to thickness, we're going to go ahead and drill and bore this to fit up on there. Probably go ahead and carve out that inner side. I'll turn the outside diameter on the stub once we get it mounted. So let's go ahead and see if we can get this thing faced off. Go ahead and face across there. We'll probably have to make a couple of passes to get that clean up. I think we're getting her cleaned up this time. All right, we will go ahead and flip this over and we will work on the other side. I'm mainly concentrating and just making sure it's up flat against the back of those jaws. Not worried about the outside diameter at this point. Shooting for 1 inch thick, and we got about 50 more thousandths we need to take off of that. So shouldn't have pulled that out a while ago. Should have just came back across it, but this will be fine. I'm just going to use my digital readout. I'm going to put in about 20 thou. Well, let's do 25 roughly. Go across there. We get a better measurement now, and looks like we got 21 thou I'll measure that in a couple places. It's about 24, 24. Yeah, I'm gonna call it 24 thou. So I'm just gonna dial that in directly. Just move it in 24 thou. This is not a supercritical measurement by any means. We'll go ahead and cut back across there. This should be the size or close enough. All right, I'm going to go ahead and pull out. Yeah, we're reading. It's like about a thou, maybe 2 under. It's like we're reading right on there. Maybe a thou over there, but for what we're doing, this is going to be just fine. All right, let's get a drill bit out and bore this out to size. Did some measuring over there, and we need a hole in this that is just a tad under 1 7/8 inches, so 1.875. Looks like the original was just made for a press fit, so a couple of 10,000ths under. What I'm going to do here is we got a center in there to just kind of get a hole started in the middle. I'm going to start with a smaller drill bit, and we're just going to drill out most of this inside diameter, not all of it. We're going to finish up with a boring bar, but we're going to get most of it out with a drill bit. So starting here with a 3/8 inch drill bit, just to get a clear hole all the way through the part. Once we get this done, we're just going to increase in drill bit sizes until we get up to something a little bit less than that. So we'll get this one in and go to our next size. All right, next one here. This one happens to be 13/16. I'll be the first to tell you that the size of these bits is really kind of irrelevant. I'm just trying to get through this part. I thought I had picked out a fairly sharp bit, although this one is giving me a hard time. I think I'm gonna go freshen this one up on my drill sharpener. Hopefully I didn't work hard in that. And try to get through the rest of this. All right, guys, I just ended up moving up to my next size drill bit, 1 5/32 inches. We slowed our speed down about 200 RPMs. I don't know what's going on with that other drill bit. I sharpened it, came over here and tried it again, and it's like that metal's just a butter or something. It just wouldn't drill. I think that drill bit may have gotten hot in the past and lost its temper. The metal that I'm drilling into wasn't too hard to drill. It's just that drill bit just wouldn't do it. I'm gonna actually throw that drill bit in the garbage. But we are making progress. I'm just continuing on here. We got one more drill bit to go after this one to get it kind of close to that final size. I've talked about this before, but when I'm drilling, make these long chips, you'll just kind of stop your cut. You'll break that chip so you don't have these super long chips. You can do that periodically through your drill so you don't end up with super long chips. All right, let's put our last bit in here and we'll finish this hole out. All right, we slowed things down again. This is I can't remember what it is, but it's a little bit under 1 7/8 inches. And we're gonna see if we can go ahead and get this one. After this size hole, we will just go to boring it out the rest of the way. We are ready for boring here. I did have to take this out of the chuck, put some spacers behind it, because when I drilled through a while ago, I actually was just barely running into the inside of the chuck. So I had to get a little clearance behind there to finish this out. What I'm going to do is just start by just barely touching off here. And just going to make a little light pass through this. Probably got a little bit of run out in that hole just because of making the move, but it really is irrelevant. We'll turn the outside diameter last and it will be running true. I need to take this a little bit more than what I got there. All right, we'll shut down. I'm gonna get a bore micrometer and check that. All right, so it looks like we are at 1.797. That in my digital readout. 1.797. So we're just going to come in here and we're going to just under 1.875. I want to be probably about 4/10 undersized. It should be taking about 40 thousandths out. See where we're at. So that's 825, 850. So we're about 865.2. That's right what we're measuring up here. So we got literally about 10 more thou to come out of there. I'm just going to take a spring pass here. I'm not going to feed in at all. We're just basically cutting out the flex in the bar and the system there from tool pressure. Let's see where we are now. And it looks like I'm actually right where I want to be. I'm 4/10 thousandths under the mark there. So that should be a press fit onto the shaft. Here's my piece we're going to press this up on, and yeah, it's just starting on there, but it's not going past. I think that's going to be a nice press fit. So we're going to stop right there. I do want to deburr that inside. Actually, I got to bore that out, so I probably didn't have to do that. I'll have to do the other side once I get it out, though. Let's see. I do need to counterbore this. Let me get that figured out, and we will get that done as well. So you can see on the original, this is bored out. That's 2.5 inches in diameter, and it's 650 thousandths deep. So we need to do that counter bore. We'll just go ahead and do it on this setup. So, and we'll just use the boring bar to do it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come over here and I'm going to just touch off the end of my bar onto the stock, and I'm going to zero my digital readout. I'm then going to come in 650 thousandths on the digital readout, which will be my depth that I'm going to cut to, which is right there, and I'm going to zero it again. So I can, as I'm boring this down, I can watch my digital readout, and I'll probably stop just a little bit shy of that and then clean it up at the end. I don't want to go all the way to 0. And my diameter should still be right. I haven't changed anything there. We want to take that to 2.5 inches. So right now we're at basically 1 point, well, we're at 1.7 inches is what the bore is. Yeah, 2.5 inches in diameter. All right, we will continue boring here. So 40 thousandths. I'm going to just watch my digital readout till I get down close to 0 and stop. And we're going to continue on here until we get this done. According to my digital readout, I'm at 2.5 inches. We're going to just go in here and make a spring pass, pull it back out. Looks like we're a little bit shy of that, but we can confirm with our calipers. Actually, we're right on the money, 2.5 inches. All right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to dial in my depth. I'm just going to go across the bottom and go to the diameter. I'm doing all this watching my digital readout. I'm just going to 2.5 inches on the diameter, which I'm sneaking up on here right now. We're there. All right, we should have our counter bore done. Double check everything. Again, our diameter, 2.5 inches, maybe a thou over, not a big deal. That's not a critical measurement. And 625 on the depth, again, not a critical measurement. We're right there where we need to be. So looks good. I'm going to take my deburring tool and just lightly deburr that one. Can't really get to that surface right now very well. Got these little spacers behind it. So we need to press this on to the piece down below. But before I do, I went in here and I actually marked where all the existing holes are in there. We're going to drill 4 new holes for the screws to hold this in, and probably put a couple of drive pins in there like they had before, just to keep it the same setup. And I don't want to put any down the same hole, so we'll probably go kind of in between these, just to make sure we're going into good metal. So I just wanted to note that I marked those so I'll know where I need to go later on. And right now we're going to go press this together. Back over here at the arbor press, I've got my plate face down here, and we're just going to come in and press this into the holes. So let me zoom in here and we'll press that home. Right, let's center that up on the ram here. And it shouldn't take a whole lot. There we go. Pressed in place. That was a good press fit. We put those screws and pins in there, we should be good to go. Well, I'm ready to come over here and start drilling some of these holes in this to mount this in place. Now, in the original one, there were 4 socket kept set screws in there that were counterbored in to kind of hold that in place. There were also two um, pins, just straight dowel pins that were pressed in there that will also help drive all this. Now I went to check, this is using a 1032 socket cap screw. I've got the screws, but what I don't have is a counter bore to bore a 1032 socket cap screw. So I had to order one of those. That's going to take a couple of days to get here. But I do want to go ahead and put in the holes for the drive pins, because that can help hold all this together while I finish turning this thing out. I may actually wait until I get the socket set screws in there to do all that, but I can go ahead and get started on this. So what I'm gonna do is, well, first off, I'm using this super spacer. This was a gift of a viewer that sent it to me recently. This is a tool that is used for indexing. It's not really set up for precision indexing like you would use for a dividing head for cutting gears or something like that, typically for more coarse intervals. The way this particular one works is there's a plate down here on the bottom. There's just a screw here you loosen. You can put in what angle you want on this bottom one, and when you do, you just index this thing and it moves by that many degrees. I got it set on 45 degrees right now. So, you know, we can do, this is basically 8 divisions in a circle. So I can come around here to the division I want, which is going to be this one right here. And we're going to go ahead and drill that in, and I'm going to do the one across it. I'll probably go ahead and just, while I got the center drill in, just do all, there's going to be 6 total holes, 2 for the dowels, 4 for the pins. I'm probably just go ahead and center drill all of them. I've already got this set up kind of on the center of that, and in the center of this piece down here where I got room for my counter bore to go into without getting into the center hub. So anyway, let's go ahead. We'll do our, put our center drill. I'm just putting a little hole there to kind of help that drill bit get started. Then we'll continue on and at least get the 2 in there for the dowels. All right, I got my center drill in here. You can see I'm going down. I'm hitting maybe just a tad past the center on this back piece, but that should give me clearance for my socket cap screw to kind of not come through the front here. That's my game plan, and we're going to go ahead and get those. I made some marks in here. They're not exactly where they need to be. They're just roughly where I need my 6 holes. But we're just going to work our way around. There's one. Put one there. We're going to skip that one. Put one there. One there. One there. And we'll put one there. All right. So my dowels that we're putting in here are 3/16 .1875. I'm going to drill these just a little bit undersized. I think this is a number 13 drill, which is, I don't remember exactly, it's about 5 thou under, I think. And then I'm going to come in here and I'm going to ream it with this reamer. This reamer is a 1/2 thousandths undersize for those dowel pins, so it'll be a press fit for them to go in. So let's see, we need to go to that one there. That's the middle one, and we'll do the one across it as well. Will be for the dowels. So let's go ahead and drill that one. Looks like the material, that other one is cast iron. We got steel on this one, but that's okay. All right, I'm gonna go 180 degrees. So we'll just index this around right there. All right, we're through the steel and into the cast iron. Okay. Well, guys, I probably could slip this past you and you wouldn't even notice, but most of you wouldn't, some of you would. But I made a mistake and we're having to change plans just a little bit. So I drilled these out for 3/16" dowels, or at least I thought I did. When I came to ream the holes, my reamer dropped straight down into it. It was just a little bit oversized. I went and checked my drill bit, and instead of it being a number 13 drill bit like I was wanting to use, I had a number 12 drill bit, which was a little bit too large. What happened, I had the wrong drill bit in the wrong drawer in my drill box over there. Didn't check it before I came over here and drilled, just assumed it was right, and I made a mistake. So game plan is that we're gonna upsize these holes to 1/4 inch dowels. Fortunately, I got plenty of room in there. It's not gonna hurt a thing. It's only gonna make the parts stronger, but still frustrating to have screwed up. So I've actually already come back in here and we've got the 1/4 inch holes drilled. Just went a little bit oversized. Again, I've got a 1/4 inch reamer. This is actually a 1/2 thou undersize. So again, we got a press fit for those dowels to go in. And I'm gonna go ahead and ream this out. It's just gonna take a little bit extra metal out there. A reamer is for making a precision size hole. A drill bit is typically gonna drill it a little over or undersized. For a press fit like this, you're always better to use a reamer, particularly when you want to go a little bit undersized as well. So let's go to the next hole. We'll just index around. Here we go. Should be lined right back up where we need to be. And we should be good. So, well, there we go. We're going to pause the job for now and wait for some parts to come in so we can finish it up. But like I said, this is coming along nicely. I'm happy with how this is turning out so far. And hopefully we'll get this thing knocked out before too long. Once we get this one done, I've got the 2 other gears to make. I got to make a whole new stub axle. We'll put the gear teeth on that. Then we'll make the add-on gear. Very similar process to the one we're doing here, and we'll cut those teeth as well. But that'll be coming up later on as we continue this series on making this set of 3 gears for this particular job. And with that, guys, we are going to sign off. As always, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Those thumbs up and comments, always greatly appreciated. Really helps to feed the algorithm over on YouTube and get my site out there in front of other people. And as always, a big, huge thank you to the people who support the site through Patreon, PayPal, etc. I literally could not do everything we do without you guys helping out over on that front. And for those that do, thank you very much. If you're interested in that, you can click that Patreon link in the description and find out more about it. And with that, guys, we're going to sign off. We will catch you on the next video. And again, thanks for watching.